Hi, this is CBRadioMagazine.com, and today we're going to look at the Magnum 257 HP. This is the new high-power radio from Magnum. It incorporates the RFX 75 section, amplifier section, on the external part of the back of the radio. This new radio, the HP version, is capable around 70 watts, can do a little bit more, and during heavy use might do a little bit less, but the newer radio definitely does do roughly around 20 to 25 watts, anywhere up to about 30 watts more than previous versions. On the left side of the radio is a on-off volume control. Just below that you'll see your microphone connector. This radio does use a special 6-pin microphone connection. This is going to be a dual control pot. It's RF gain on the outside and mic gain control on the inside. This is going to be your clarifier control, your frequency channel changing control. And above that, this knob is also a dual control knob, squelch on the outside and variable power on the inside knob. This radio incorporates 6 buttons, and we'll go through those in just a second. Has a LCD display. The display shows you either the frequency, and it shows you the band of frequencies that you're in. It also can be changed to show a channel display, which I'll show you in just a second. It'll show output on the radio, and you'll see a bar graph along the bottom. Shows you a TX light, and it also will show the mode of operation, and many of the other functions will display along the top here as we get into those. So let's show you the buttons on this radio. Okay, let's discuss these 6 buttons here on the front of the radio. Button number 1 is a step and noise blank. Number 2 is a call. Number 3 is a scan and shift. Number 4 is a last channel recall and a repeater. Number 5 is a mode and tone low, and number 6 here is the memory load, memory save buttons. The first button here controls the step button, and what it does is allows you to pick increments for adjustment. In 10-meter mode, it'll allow you to pick from different adjustments. In expanded frequency mode, it only will adjust the 5th digit here. And as you can see, we can adjust to allow to go in between frequencies, or if you want to set the radio up when you go up to 10 meters, so you can be on the zeros rather than the 5s. The secondary function here is controlled through the clarifier. It's a function button. If we press this button and then the number 1 button, you'll see that it's turned off our noise blank. We press it again, it'll turn our noise blank and A&L, automatic noise limiting, back on. Many of these buttons on here are dual function buttons. The next button is the call button, and this button cycles us through the bands of frequencies to go down from 25 megahertz all the way up to 29 megahertz. The secondary function of that button is you can press the function button and then the call button, and it drops us into a channelized mode that most 11-meter operators would be interested in. The next button here is a scan button. If we press that, it'll start scanning through the channels. It'll stay about 5 to 10 seconds on each channel, and then it goes to the next one. We can also turn up the squelch. This is with the squelch all the way down. If we turn the squelch up, it'll start scanning much more quickly, and it'll keep going until a signal breaks the squelch. The secondary function on that button is a shift button that's only operational in the 10-meter mode, not the expanded mode that we have the radio in. Over here we have a last channel recall button. That button allows us to go to the last channel that we transmitted on. So if we press the last channel recall button, you'll see it drops us down to a different channel, and it takes us right back to where we were. The repeater tone function on that is for 10-meter mode. It's disabled in expanded frequency mode as well. Button number 5 is our mode control. And you can see the mode changing, AM, FM, lower sideband, upper sideband, as we scroll through. The tone low control allows you to change the tone on the radio. It's utilize the function button to get to that one, secondary function on the radio. So if we turn up the radio, you'll hear our normal hiss. If we press the function button and then the tone low, you'll hear it quiets down quite a bit. So it cuts out coming to that high-end hiss, and it's nice for using on sideband. The last button I'll show you on the Magnum 257 HP is the memory load, memory save button. What you can do is load frequencies and store them in these 5 buttons here, and you do save the frequency and the mode, which is pretty neat. So what we do if we want to access ones we've already saved, we press memory load. I can press number 1 and it'll take me to the frequency that I've selected. I can press number 2, memory load number 2, and you'll see I've gone to 27.025 AM. Press memory load number 3 here, and it takes me up to upper sideband 28.400, 10 meter frequency. And so it's pretty neat. It can jump around between the frequencies. It's your favorite frequency, so I can jump from channel 6 to channel 38, back to channel 6. So it's channel 6 AM, channel 38 lower sideband with just press of a couple buttons. One of the things you will notice on the new Magnum 257 HP is that it does have an unlocked clarifier, so you can slide in between frequencies. We'll key up the radio here so you can see. As you can currently see, our frequency counter shows that we are in 27.025. You'll note that the display here on the radio is not an active frequency counter, it's a frequency display. As I adjust the clarifier, you will see, we're currently in transmit mode, you will see that our frequency is changing. So the clarifier is unlocked and the radio does track on transmit and receive when you move the clarifier. And as you'll notice that the frequency counter is moving, the radio display is not. So as you're changing frequency or sliding, just so you do know, the display on the radio will not change. Now I know many people are interested to see what the RFX 75 looks like on the Magnum 257, and as you can see it does stick out a little bit on the back of the radio, but it still is fairly low profile and it still keeps with the small size of the Magnum 257. This unit is mounted onto the back of the radio, so your transistors are in this section, and it's got a nice heat sink here, compared to normally your transistor would be mounted on the back of the radio case here. You'll see a antenna jack, an external speaker plug here, and you'll see your power cord coming out of the back of the radio. Okay, this is the inside of the Magnum 257 HP. You can see where the hole is drilled and the wires go back connecting the RFX 75 system to the radio. Magnum 257 HP does use surface mount technology, so you won't see a lot of large resistors hanging off the board. From the factory, this is going to be set up for 10 meters. And what you're going to have to do is remove this screw here, and I'll show you what happens when you remove the board and what it looks like on the other side. On the Magnum 257, for the frequency conversion, from the factory you'll see this black jumper located here. It's going to be located in the number 1 Con 1 position. To move it to out of 10 meter mode and into an expanded frequency mode, you move the jumper to the Con 3 position and press the reset button here. When you do move it into the expanded frequency mode, it does disable some of the functions available in the ham radio 10 meter mode. You'll no longer have the tone burst option. Your tuning increments are going to be a little bit different, and you won't have the offset functionality. But this is how you expand it, and this is will expand it for 11 meter operation. As we close up our review here, I'm just going to discuss one last thing. The RFX 75 on these radios, the output on these radios are roughly going to be around 70 to 75 watts in the high range. When the radios heat up and you've been using it for quite a while, over an hour, with lots of contacts or conversations there, the transistors will heat up and your output will drop a bit on these radios. Realistically, anywhere, you might lose anywhere from 10 to 15 watts maximum after you've heated up the RFX 75. RFX 75 units, they do get quite warm during use. In some cases even pretty hot to the touch if you run the radio at full tilt for an extended period of time. They do disperse the heat through the heatsink, and from my discussions with Magnum, I've been told that the RFX 75 transistors that it uses in there are quite rugged, so they will withstand heat better than previous transistors might have failed at lower temperatures, operating temperatures. So while it does get warm, as far as the RFX 75 goes, you shouldn't have any problems with failure due to the heat, unless the radio has been overtuned and is doing too much wattage. This has been cbradiomagazine.com. Thanks for watching our overview of the Magnum 257 HP from Magnum Radios. This is a new radio just on the market. For a full review, visit cbradiomagazine.com.